Good afternoon to all the participants present here. Goyal Brothers Prakashan would like to welcome you all. We have with us our guest faculty, our uh, subject matter expert, Alka Mahajan ma'am today with us. Ma'am, you can turn on your video and share your screen.
Sure.
We can start the webinar now. Over to you.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Jitin, and thank you to Goyal Brothers Prakashan. And a very, very good evening to all the young boys and young girls present here today. And if your teachers are also there, a good evening to them as well. So first of all, great congratulations. You people have been working so hard online and you have never really given up on the learning process. I mean, it must have been hard for you, but when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And I'm sure all of you have done a wonderful job. And in the process, you must have learned a lot of new things. Of course, you are all very good at technology, perhaps even better than us. So I don't think you had a problem and you have adjusted very well. But yes, there have been things that, need, there have been some gaps and whatever. Oh, yes, I think your date sheet has been released, Shreyansh. First, listen to me, please. And if some of you can come on video mode, it would be nice. Otherwise, it seems that I don't know what I'm talking to. So it would be nice to see your faces and to understand whether you are understanding what I'm saying or not. So I will just share my screen and I will take you through what is going to be coming, the marking scheme, and some important tips for your preparation. All right, so this is basically I'm going to be taking you through what are you going to be getting, what is part of your exams, the preparation tips, the marking scheme, and certain important things that you need to keep into consideration. So let's just begin. Now, what will we be talking about today, boys and girls? We will be talking about the second term according to the bifurcated syllabus. We will be discussing the types of questions, format, and the finer details. And the most important, how do we prepare for the upcoming second term exams? I'm sure you're already at it. And now there are just a few days, maybe just 2-3 weeks left, maybe not even 3, but 2. So you really have to get going now. So this is what we'll be discussing. Now, as per the bifurcated syllabus, girls and boys, the second semester has three sections. The first one is reading, the second one is writing and grammar, and the third one is literature. Okay. Now, as we all know, the CBSE has split the syllabus into half for the academic year. You're very well aware of that. And for the second term also, you will have the same syllabus. Only thing is, whatever came in the term 1 will not be coming in term 2. I'm sure you're very happy about that and you know that. But still, the reading section would be for 10 marks, the writing and grammar would be for 10 marks, the literature would be for 20 marks, and the total of all this would be 40. Of course, you have an internal assessment, which would be 10 marks, and the grand total, making it a grand total of 50 marks. Now, when you come to the details of the second term specimen paper, you should know that the time allowed to you would be 2 hours, maximum marks would be 40, questions to be attempted based on specific instructions for each part. And the term 2 exam 2022 will be held in a subjective type pattern. Subjective, it's not going to be objective. So in case you have any kind of an idea like that in your mind, please take it out. It is going to be subjective. Now, the pattern of the specimen paper. So section A is all about reading. And as they say, that reading, is to the mind. It's actually food for the mind. And when we're reading, we have to be reading with focus. Now, this is the important part. So when you are attempting the passages, so you basically will get 2 passages. And the questions that you get from the 2 passages will be based on inference, evaluation, vocabulary, analysis, and interpretation. Now, I'm sure you can handle all of it, but generally what has been seen in the years gone by, that vocabulary or the word attack questions have been a little bit, challenging. But I'm sure that if you have been brushing up on your vocabulary skills, considering that you have to give a lot of focus on expression and fluency, I'm sure it's not going to be any kind of a bother for you. Now, there will be 2 passages of 5 marks each, because this section A is 10 marks. The first passage will be discursive, and this will be a passage of about 400 to 450 words. And the second one would be case-based factual passage, which will be based on facts. So some data would be given, some graph would be given, a table might be given, and along with it, the passage would also be there. Now, you would be getting 6 questions for both the passages. And you would have to attempt any 5. So you don't have to attempt 6, you just have to attempt 5, because you will still get marks, only 5 marks and not 6 marks. So you have to keep that in mind. So 6 questions, and you will have the option of doing any 5. Now, what is important and what needs to be kept in mind over here is that marks, there will be no deductions for errors in spelling, grammar, or punctuation in section A. I'm only talking of section A, that there will be no deductions for errors in spellings, grammar, or punctuation. Now, marks will be awarded only if the answer reveals formation of a response to the question that has been asked. So you don't have to write a very long question, and anyway, they're going to be very short question answers. And yes, no marks to be awarded if exact lines are taken from the passage without evidence of structure or semblance of coherent thought. Now, that is something that you need to keep in mind. Don't just lift the answers from the passage, because that will not get you any marks. And we need marks because we need to get full marks. And you can definitely do that if you just follow these simple things and keep these simple points in mind. So section A, 2 passages, 5 questions each with an option of 6, and you will get the option of choosing. Out of the 6, you will get an option of choosing 5, but you're not to lift the answers. You have to write an answer as you deem fit. Let me remind you, keep the language simple and clear. You don't need to actually write high sounding words, no ostentatious or flamboyant words. The words that you're going to be using just need to be clear, simple. The more, that will give more clarity to whatever it is that you're writing. So this is section A.
Now, subscribe to Bright Duty course at ₹1 per day only. Download Bright Duty app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Duty courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Duty follows 3-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tutor and avail your courses at affordable prices.
Now the next one, section B. Now section B is divided into 2 parts, writing skills for 5 marks and grammar for 5 marks. Now let's discuss the writing skills. First, writing skills, you will have the option of doing, you'll have 2 writing skills, and there would be for 5 marks each, but you'll have the option of doing 1. So either you choose to do the formal letter, which will be based on a given situation, letter of order or letter of inquiry, and or you would have to be doing an analytical paragraph, which is based on an outline, a chart, a cue, a map, a report. Now, when it comes to the letter, please follow the format. and you need to keep on revising. Don't just look at it, actually practice it by writing it down. So that is why I say that practice is important, because for the last 2 years, boys and girls, you haven't really been writing too much. You've been so glued to the computer screen, your laptop screen, that the writing part has not really been happening. So what is important is that you write. So when you're practicing your formats, it's a good idea to practice, write the name of the format, write, like, for example, letter of order, and write down the format. And then later on, when you have more time, once the format is clear, you could perhaps do a lot of practice from the sample papers. Now, analytical paragraph is actually a kind of a descriptive writing. It's a form of a descriptive writing, which is written on the basis of a given chart, a graph, a data, an outline, like I said. Now, you have to be very clear and crisp over here, along with details of the chart given in the question. Now, what is it? What do you have to do basically? Now, there are 3-4 things that you need to be, keeping in mind. The first thing is that the analytical paragraph that you write, it needs to convey ideas convincingly using appropriate language. Secondly, organize the content and the structure, and structure the ideas logically, sequentially, and cohesively. That is important. You have to follow a sequence. You just cannot give random thoughts. And it has to be, you need to use a range of vocabulary and sentence structure appropriate to the content and the context. And use a functional language, to show comparison, to show contrast, to show, to emphasize, and also for your conclusion. Now, when I talk about the marking scheme of an analytical paragraph, which you need to know, and even for letter writing, it is basically 2 + 2 + 1. Now, over here, 2 marks is for the content. So when I talk about an analytical paragraph, 2 marks for the content would mean that you would need to give 2 points of view. But don't just give 2 points of view. Now, this is the important part. Please focus on what I'm going to be saying. Don't just give the 2 points of views. You have to give evidence as well. Now, you will ask me, where do you get the evidence? So you will have either, you'll have a chart, you'll have a pie graph, you'll have some outline. There will be some data provided. Based on that, you have to give the outline for whatever points you are writing. So if you're talking about population exposure, you're talking about maybe some kind of a mental health, a kind of a survey done, then you have to be very careful that when you're writing the points, you will also write the evidence as to this many respondents replied in the affirmative saying this, and I do agree that, so this is the way you have to be actually attempting your analytical paragraph, because you're analyzing. See, you're analyzing. So just listing the content map is not going to work without evidence of analysis. So this is important, because if you just write the point, you will get no credit. And we don't want to lose marks at all. So that is why it's very important and very necessary that we understand what, we understand these little minute details and these little tips. Last moment rush will make you forget. So it's a good idea, and it's very good that all of you have joined, and this could be a nice recap. I'm sure your teachers have done a wonderful, wonderful job, but at the same time, a little bit of practice, more practice and more practice will only enhance the learning, your learning. So that is the idea. Now, the next thing is your expression. Now, expression is again for 2 marks. So you have to remember to write your analytical paragraph in just 1 paragraph. Okay, 1 paragraph only with a suitable topic sentence. Okay, so 1 paragraph, suitable topic sentence, supporting sentences, and also you would have to have a concluding sentence. So basically an introduction, the body, and the conclusion. That is your analytical paragraph. Now this would be for the expression. Now the third one is 1 mark. And what is that 1 mark for? That 1 mark is for your accuracy. Now what is accuracy? Accuracy is your usage of functional language. Okay, your punctuations, your spellings, your grammar, Now your comparisons and the contrast that you do, like for example, in contrast with, in comparison to, on the contrary. So how you link, when you're giving your viewpoints and you're putting the evidence along with it, you have to remember to put all these, use these kinds of words, whereas, as opposed to, a striking difference. So these are the things that you need to keep in mind. So now this would be, again, like I said, 5 plus 5 marks. So you have a choice, girls and boys, you have a choice. You can do the letter or you can do the analytical paragraph. The choice is yours. So you have to take a decision. You have to make a choice very carefully and very judiciously. And when do you do that? The 15 minutes reading time that you get. So just keep that in mind. Now coming to section B of the writing and grammar. So writing we have done. Writing is for 5 marks, and grammar. Now grammar, you will have two parts over here. So question number 4 and question number 5. So question number 4 would be your editing. Now editing, and that will be based on these all these tenses or models or subject verb concord or determiner, reported speech, commands and requests, statements and questions. Generally, the first 4 will go for your editing. Now here, another point has to be kept in mind. So you will get 3. It will be for 3 marks. And you have to remember one thing, that when you have to not only write the incorrect word. So you will get a passage. So you have to find out what is incorrect in that passage. Write that in one blank, and in the second blank, you have to write the correct word. If you happen to miss out writing one, you will lose marks. So it could be, and that could be tantamount to you losing at least half a mark. And even a little, even losing half a mark means a lot. So don't keep these little things in mind so that you do not lose marks. And you, when you're doing your editing, you know very well in mind. So you can have 2 blanks. In the first one, write the incorrect word. And the second one, write the correct. If you leave out one, you lose your mark. So keep that in mind. And the next one would be, of course, your passage completion, which is generally based on your reported speech. Now that would be for 2 marks. So just be careful. Commands, requests, statements, questions, interrogative questions, imperative. So those are little rules which I'm sure you must have practiced. And again, I always say that for grammar is just like maths. The more you practice, the better you get. So that is why the sample papers would really, really come in handy. The more you practice, the better you will get, because this is the time of doing your sample papers, dearest girls and boys. So coming to section C, literature. So I'm talking about basically your literature in totality is for 20 marks. You will have questions based on extracts, text to assess, interpretation, inference, extrapolation, beyond and across the text. Now, let me just take you through what your syllabus is about in term 2. So term 2, from first flight, your book First Flight, you have glimpses of India. You have Madam Rides the Bus. You also have the sermon at Banaras, and you have your play, The Proposal. So these are the chapters that will be coming. And for your poetry section, it is Amanda, it is Animals, and it is The Tale of Custard the Dragon. And from your supplementary book, The Footprints Without Feet, you have The Making of a Scientist, The Necklace, The Hack Driver, and Bholi. Let me tell you one thing, that the questions that you get, it's not that, one question would be totally dedicated to only one book and the second one to the second. It's not like that. The questions will be a mixture of both the books. So just keep that in mind. And see, girls and boys, the good thing is that, you just have 11 chapters to do. And it is a good idea to actually read the chapters and read them aloud, read them out aloud to yourself. Why? Because the understanding becomes even greater. And what is important, what will be important over here is that when you sort of read, then after that, you also at the same time keep your revision notebook or register, whatever you use handy. Write down the main points over there, the main focus points. Maybe you could write the theme, maybe you could write one line each about the characters, or just write the names of the characters and what was their role in the lesson, in the play or in the poetry. What is the theme that the poet is trying to say? And when you're doing poetry, you can perhaps write the poetic devices or the poetic nuances used by the poet. So, when you do that, see, one, you are reiterating and just, giving more power to your thoughts and to your learning. So there is no question of blanking out in the examination hall. Many times what happens is that we think that we know it all. We've just read through the entire thing. But what happens when we actually go over there and we start writing, suddenly there's a blank. There's a blank, everything seems to go black, and we seem to have, it's that mind knows, but somehow you're not able to do it. That is why I'm saying practice writing, practice reading, practice writing, just 11 lessons. And that's definitely not at all order, just 11 lessons. I'm sure you will be able to manage them pretty well. All of you, you'll be doing a good job at that. So
Now, subscribe to Bright Duty course at ₹1 per day only. Download Bright Duty app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Duty courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Duty follows 3-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tutor and avail your courses at affordable prices.
Let's go to the next one. I have to tell you some important things also. Before I tell you this, I just want to say one more thing, that the literature, there will be question number 6 would be, you will have 6, you have to do 6 questions. Every question would be for 2 marks each. You will be getting 7 questions. You don't have to do all of them. You have to do only 6 of them, 2 marks each. When I say that you have to do questions 2 marks each, that means you have to write 30 to 40 words only, 30 to 40 words. However, I want to also tell you that the good news over here is that should you exceed the word limit, then you are not going to be penalized for that. But that does not mean that you should write 100 words, because then see, the time is limited. You have 2 hours only and you have a lot to do. So please try to stick to the word limit, adhere to the word limit. If it is a 2-mark question, you have to write maximum 40 words. And how will you be able to do this? Practice. Practice definitely makes a man perfect. And the more you practice writing, it will be easier for you to attempt the question. So just keep that in mind. And the breakup would be, again, content 1 mark, and the 1 mark would be for your expression plus accuracy. So the same thing, content, the point that you write about the answer, and your expression, how you give it a sequence, even if the question is just for 2 marks, there has to be a proper structure to it. And there has to be proper use of vocabulary and accurate use. If it's all accurate, if it's all good, then you get full marks. So 12 marks. Question number 6 is 12 marks. And definitely, girls and boys, you can get 12 marks. You just need to practice, and not only read, you have to write as well. And so you have to keep the main, the names of the poet, the name of the playwright, the name of the author in mind. You have to know the names of the chapter well. Many times, I have noticed in the years gone by that sometimes you're not able to write the name of the chapter properly, and that or the poem properly. So this is something that needs to be taken into consideration. Write the names of all the chapters that are coming. And against the names of the titles of the chapters and the poems and the plays that you have, write the names of the authors, the names of the poets, the name of the playwright. It will always, always help you. Now, so remember that. And the next one, your long question. Now, the long question, basically, you will get 3 questions. Out of the 3 questions, you have to do only 2. Okay, so you have to do only 2. And there would be 4 marks. And this is quite a lot, 4 marks. So this means you would have to write about 120 words. Again, you have to write 2 points. Then you have to focus on your sequence, your cohesiveness, your coherence, and you have to use the use of functional language. And of course, you have to be very careful about the kind of vocabulary you're using. Please avoid using slang. So it's no hi, it has to be hello. It's no yeah, it has to be yes. Simple things that we keep on forgetting because we're using them in our daily language all the time. So when we're writing also our answers, we tend to use it. So please do not use slang. But again, I am reiterating that the good news is that you all can definitely, perhaps exceed the word limit by 5-10 words. But my suggestion and my advice to you would be practice writing so that you are able to write the answers for the particular, as per the particular word limit prescribed. So 120 words is all that you need to write. And believe me, 120 words, it's quite a lot. You don't need to write the entire story, my dear girls and boys. It's not the entire summary of the lesson when they're asking you a 4-mark question. You have to focus on the question that is asked. So just keep that in mind. Now, how do you actually go through the paper? How do you make your way through it? This is important. Just a minute. So basically, during reading time, you have to make choices on the topics you want to write on. So see, wherever you have a choice, you have to be very clear as to which one you're going to be doing. And in your mind, you have to have a little idea of the content. So you have to make a content map in your mind. So it's all about mind. You have to strengthen and give power to your mind. And how do you do that? I'll tell you in a little while. So now you must create roadmaps in your mind so as to what will be the content of the answers. Now you can manage your time according to a flow chart. So you can prepare a flow chart. Now, many times students ask which section should they attempt first. Ideally, I would always like to go from A, B, and C. But, sometimes I have noticed that students are very comfortable doing section C first because they have, prepared a lot on that. Since it is coming from a particular portion of the syllabus and you have revised the lessons and poetry, you're able to do that, much better. And then you go on to the writing and then finally to the reading, because that you have to read and you have to find out answers. So this is totally your individual choice. Again, I'm saying one thing, whether you do A or you do B or you do C, it doesn't really matter. But once you start doing one particular section, make sure that you complete the entire section before going on to the next. Do not in your question paper write this question number after this, at the back. Do not write that. That really puts off the ones who are checking your answer scripts. So please avoid doing that. Okay, now what else you should do? You should also remain calm and go through the paper at least twice. 15 minutes, you can easily do that. You have 2 hours of writing time and 15 minutes of reading time, and I'm sure you can do this reading properly. In your mind, you can understand, make your choices. And once you know wherever you are very good at, and you'll be able to finish it in time. So you have 1.5 hours. You could give 30 minutes each, and 30 minutes you can have to revisions and everything. But see, this is, again, I'm saying this is your own particular preference. Do not do something like focusing 1 hour completely on one section, and for the coming sections, you don't have much time and then leave no time for revision. Don't try to do that. You have to give equal proper time. That is why I say stick to the word limit. Now, how do you prepare yourself? Now, this is something I've been telling you as I'm speaking, that practice makes you perfect. You should be given, you should do ample practice in all the topics so that you can spot your shortcomings and then work on it. Then again, you should be made to read newspapers. So this enhances the vocabulary, or perhaps you can listen to the news so that you get a knack for the flow of writing. Then also, you need to improve your neatness and the speed of your writing. And this is an area which I feel has become a gap. Why? Because of the 2 years, the 2 years of online study has perhaps made your writing speed, has actually put a little dent on your writing speed, but not to worry. I'm sure you're very brave girls and boys, and you're doing a fantastic job, and I'm sure you're practicing and writing your answers, Don't just practice, don't just speak, don't just look at the book and say, oh, I know this all. And don't just read summaries. Please don't do that. Try to read the entire chapter in totality. Go through the formats. Practice a lot of comprehension passages. It's very, very important. Keep calm. And I'm going to give you one secret, not secret, but yeah, it's a good tip.
Now, subscribe to Bright Duty course at ₹1 per day only. Download Bright Duty app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Duty courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Duty follows 3-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tutor and avail your courses at affordable prices.
So I think it's over here. Now, in your revision plan, again, I'm repeating, read all chapters aloud and write the main points briefly. Revise all writing formats and grammatical concepts. Follow this up by solving sample papers. And you get excellent sample papers. If you actually go through the Goyal brothers book, you will find that there are 5 sample papers that are solved and 5 sample papers that are unsolved. So you could easily, go through the solved ones and then try to do them by yourself and then attempt the 5 unsolved ones. That will give you really good practice for the coming exam, which is just round the corner now. So be particular about word limits and practice writing answers accordingly for both short as well as long answers. So whether it's a 30-40 word answer or whether it is a 120 word answer, please adhere to the word limit. Now you have to time yourself as you practice writing your answer. So this is a good way. When you're practicing, you can time yourself. So you know that you take this much time, you take about 20 minutes to do comprehension, you take about 25 minutes to do the writing, you take about half an hour to do the literature. So once you have an idea, you will know how to go about actually writing the paper. So now I have given you I'm going to give you an acronym. Now this acronym says PLAN. Actually, you'll say it's a word. Yeah, it is a word, but over here it means something. Now, when you get up in the morning, young boys and girls, what is important is that you need to get up with a smile, very important. And you have to actually say something nice to yourself. Take deep breaths, something very simple. I'm not giving you anything very difficult to do. Get up like this, go out into, soak in some fresh air, very good for your system. And, once you're freshened up for the day and you've had your glass of milk and your little bit of exercise, just maybe a little walk in your balcony or maybe some deep breathing yoga, whatever it is that you're comfortable with, maybe just 5-10 minutes. I'm not asking you to go on like for 1 hour because a little bit of exercise always helps. So 5-10 minutes of that. And then when you actually plan your day. Plan at what time in your day you will focus on English, on whatever subject. So over here, I would like to stick to English because this is my subject. So, give yourself some time, give some time to English. Generally, what is noticed that, English is sidelined as a subject and we neglect it. But please don't do that. This is the subject that, is going to be actually help because your interview skills, your writing skills, your negotiation skills, your collaboration skills, everything comes from here. Your speak, and plus English is a global language. So now that we are online also, so even though you're going to school, but the world has become closer. The world has become close-knit. We are interacting with members of the global fraternity as well. So it's very important that you know a language which everyone knows. So you're able to connect with them and share ideas and also learn ideas from them. That is why the importance of the language. So plan, P is plan your day ahead. It just takes 2 minutes to do that. Now, where do you plan? L is for a location at your home, maybe in your garden, somewhere where you feel the most comfortable, where you feel that, you're not distracted. Save that place for your study. So supposing you give in one day, you give 2 hours to English. Now that exams are approaching, you give 2 hours to English. So find a place that best suits you, even if you give 1 hour, but give dedicated time to the study of English. There should be complete focus. It shouldn't be that you should be sitting with your English book and your mind is elsewhere, but your book is open in front of you or your laptop is open in front of you. So avoid this kind of a situation. So find a location where you are the most comfortable and, study over there with focus, complete focus. Okay, then the mind should not get distracted. So once you start doing this, you'll realize later on in life how successful you will become. I can tell you that. Then A. So now I'm not asking you to study the whole day. I'm also asking you to indulge in an activity. A stands for activity. Activity that you enjoy doing. For example, you enjoy singing, you enjoy playing an instrument, you enjoy reading some kind of book, you enjoy doing aerobics, you enjoy doing some kind of a dance form, you enjoy painting, you enjoy cooking, you enjoy gardening. It depends. Whatever your area of interest is, spend 15 to 20 minutes doing that. You will see the kind of energy and rejuvenation that you will get. And whatever you have learned, it will stay. It's going to stay because you're going to be enjoying it. So, it's not like you're studying all the time. So yes, I'm actually asking you to spend 15, 20 minutes doing that. It will help you. It will help you immensely. And N is the name of a person that you would like to connect with. Maybe it would be a friend, but that doesn't mean, girls and boys, that you keep on talking for your friends or your family members or your relatives for hours. I'm just asking you to spend 5 to 7 minutes talking to someone, just generally talking. So why I'm giving you this plan, this will help you and this will give you a lot of confidence. And confidence, you will not feel jittery. You will not feel that, there is a vacuum. You will not feel that there are butterflies in the tummy. When you go to the examination hall, you'll go as confident students and you will start writing. You will have everything in place. So right from the 15 minutes of reading time to your, to the last, till the time you finish writing and you revise. It's very important that you revise your question paper once, twice, so that if there are any kind of flaws anywhere or you would like to change the answer to a particular question, you can do that. So, quick tips for the exams. Once again, read the question paper well, prioritize your attempt, ensure speed and accuracy, keep an eye on your watch, avoid excessive thinking. Don't think too much when you don't get the answer to a question. Move on to the next one. Don't waste time pondering and thinking about it unnecessarily and losing time. Revise your answers, select options wisely, use simple and clear language. And once again, I'm reiterating, follow the word count.
Now, subscribe to Bright Duty course at ₹1 per day only. Download Bright Duty app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Duty courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Duty follows three-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tuesday and avail your courses at affordable prices.
And finally, girls and boys, the secret of your success is determined by your hard work and your strong focus on your goal. With that, I would like to, wish you well for your exams. And I forgot to tell you about myself. I've been in the educational field for 33 years now, in administrative and leadership roles, working in DAV and DPS. And the educational journey has been very fulfilling, very challenging. Every school day was a new challenge. So that is why I say keep your mind open. So it's always good to learn something new. Even if you've heard it many times before, when you hear it again, there will always be something new for you to imbibe, to absorb, to learn. So remember that. And yes, do not feel jittery, be very calm, smile a lot. You can do it. Just say those positive affirmations to yourself. That yes, I can, I must, and I will. And I am focused, I am clear in my thoughts, and I have a study plan in place. You just when you're moving about, you can say some nice things to yourself. This is like self-talk, positive self-talk. This will always help. And yes, if you have any questions, you need to get into a good mood, then alkamahajan1@gmail.com is my number, my email ID. My number is also there should you wish to get in touch. And from me, that's about it. Not only this, I'm also a radio and television host, a talk show host. I write. I'm a communication and a leadership coach. I'm a Toastmaster. And I organize a lot of international conferences online. And yes, I'm a speaker, host, and a moderator as well. So with that, once again, dream deep, aim high, because it's your turn to fly. My dearest girls and boys, good wishes for your exams. Thank you so much. You have truly been very, very patient. Thank you. I hope you've learned some. Even if 1 point, that will be good enough for me. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, can we take questions now?
Yeah.
So we are open for questions. You can write down in the chat
Let me
box.
stop sharing.
Yeah, please, ma'am.
Yeah.
You can write down in the chat box addressing ma'am. Ma'am name is Alka Mahajan, or you can address it to GBP also.
I think they address it to you and you just read it out.
Yeah, ma'am, can you give some tips for avoiding distraction during studies?
So again, like I said, one thing that I used to do was that, it's a simple technique, but it really works. So if you have, just take a chart paper or, you have that A4 size paper. I'm sure you all have it at home. And in the middle, draw a red colored dot. Now, this is an age-old tip, but it really works. Make a dot, a circle, okay, a big circle, red colored, and just look at it, saying something nice to yourself, or just, even if you don't say anything to yourself, just keep on looking at it, staring at it. It will give you focus and it will ensure that you're not distracted. I know the mind goes here and there. That is why I said, do not spend 2, 3, 4 hours when you are there studying. Just have a dedicated, focused 1 hour, 1.5 hours. See, every student has a different ability level. So for some, even half an hour is good. For some, 45 minutes is good. For some, 1 hour is good. And for some, 2 hours is good. So that is your individual choice. And also one thing, girls and boys, never just go by your head. Listen to your heart as well. That's important. Yes, my child, what have you said? Ma'am, how many hours of, I missed it out. Jitin, what was this question? How many hours? Some very nice.
You have to go up in the chat. I did not receive that.
Okay, just a minute. I'll just,
It has been addressed to you.
just a second.
Ma'am, if we, there's question from Harsh. If we underline the main point, then it is okay or it is prohibited?
It's very good. No. Kudos to that. It's very good. So there is, I'll just read the question. Ma'am, some tips for managing the time and word limits while writing the exam. So tips for managing time is, I just explained it to you, my dears, that we need to give dedicated focus time. When you're practicing, practice time yourself. Or another thing is, after you have completely revised your entire syllabus, the 11 chapters plus the writing task and the comprehension passages, you've practiced them, do one question paper or two question papers, timing yourself 2 hours. You will know how much time you give to every topic. You can also do one at a time. So maybe you could do section A, time yourself. You can do section B, time yourself. You can do section C and time yourself. That will help, and that will help you in managing your time. I would always suggest it's a good idea to complete your question paper in 1.5 hours, and half an hour very coolly go through the whatever you have written nicely, whether you have underlined. It's always a good idea to quote from the extract. Sometimes, when you're writing long answers, boys and girls, it's a good thing to, quote from the text and just quote it and then underline it. And you're writing something from the text again, underline it. It's very important. You have some important point to make, underline it. But this comes after you do the entire paper. Then you can, the time that you have left, you do these underlinings, and you also at the same time revise. Sometimes you might have made a mistake in spellings or punctuation, or you may have, used incorrect usage of grammar. Grammatically, a sentence may be wrong, a sentence structure may be wrong. So once you're revising, you will come to know about it. Not only that, so that will help you in managing your time. So, ma'am, I cannot learn the names, Jayesh, I cannot learn the names of characters of chapters. So my child, this is what I was trying to tell you. I was trying to tell you that when you read out the chapter, now, how many chapters do you have? Just 11. Or out of you have 4 chapters from your first book, the first flight. You have 4 chapters from your supplementary, and you have 3 poems only. So which is not too much, and it's not at all order at all. So now what I'm trying to tell you is there's so many questions and I'm just losing track. So what you have—
There's a lot of ma'am questions here also.
Yes, I'll just quickly tell them. So what I was trying to tell you is, my dear girls and boys, is that you need to read the chapter. After reading it, close the book, write down the main points, whatever you remember, and the names of the characters. Just that. For example, Amanda is there, Belinda is there, whoever is there, just write the names of the characters. That's it. Don't do too much. I'm not even asking you to write a long, something about the character sketch, nothing. Then, and don't just do it once, do it 2-3 times. You see, again, children, practice makes a man perfect. And there are no shortcuts to success. Remember that there are no instant formulas. There's nothing like instant, everything is instant. No, there are no shortcuts. You have to work hard. You have to be perseverant. You have to be persistent. You have to be consistent. And then only you'll be able to crack. So work on that, and it will definitely help. And I gave you my my number and my mail ID. Should you still find some trouble, please let me know. So yes, of course, get in touch with me for that. Ma'am, our marks will be deducted or not if we cross the word limit. See, my dears, for the writing section, your marks will be deducted. For the writing section, yes. So you have to stick to the word limit. But for your literature portion, the good news is that even if you exceed the word limit, like you write, for example, for a 2-mark question, you write like 80 words, it will not be deducted. However, your incompetency will show that you are not able to write that answer in just about 30-40 words. You see, that is the beauty. Clarity and brevity is the soul of the wit. And if we want to make our point, clear, we can even do it in just a little bit. We don't need to say too much. We can do it while we say just a little bit. Sometimes, when you do that, when you practice a little bit of constraint, it always works. So don't write too much and just stick to the word limits. That will be good. So remember, 30 to 40 words for a 2-mark question. And for the 4-mark questions, it is 120 words. For your analytical essay, it is also 120 to 150 words. For your letter writing, it is again 120 words. So just remember that. Writing comprehensive passage. So my dears, now this is the thing is that comprehension passage, again, is like you have to read, there's one important tip over here. Read the questions first. It will give you an idea of what kind of questions are there. So when you're reading the passage, you will have an idea that there was a question relating to this. So maybe what you can do is read the first question, then read passage 1. Generally, the first question is from passage 1. This is a tip, but it's always a good idea to, when you have your reading time, read both the passages properly. And when you are actually attempting your comprehension passage, then it is a good idea to read the questions first and then look at the passage and then try to extract the answers. But again, as I said, do not lift the answers from the passage. You have to write them in your own words and they have to be relevant. So if you write something which is unnecessary and which is not called for, it will not work. Understood, my lovely kids? So how to study for exam in one day? My God, Daksh. So, okay, let me tell you. So obviously, I hope you're not thinking of just studying one day for English, because that is not good, Daksh, and that is unjust treatment to English. I hope you have studied throughout, and yes, for one day, what you can do is the notes that you have made while doing your revision. Like I told you, when you're reading out the lessons, write those notes down and write the names of the characters, write maybe some important focus areas, that this lesson was about this. This lesson was about Amanda. She longed for liberation. She wanted to be free. So something like you just write the word liberation, you just write the word freedom, and it will make a lot of sense to you. Believe me, your mind will be very good. If you follow that plan, PLAN, you will be able to assimilate here. Train your mind to be an angel. Do not train it to be a devil. If you train it to be a devil, if you will fall to temptation, then you will be distracted. But if you follow the right path, you're focused, and even 1 hour of focused study will definitely get you to your goals. So don't worry. I'm sure you'll really rock.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. We are running out of time. We'll have to end the webinar now.
Yes, there are lots of questions. They can just
Yes.
get in touch with me. So my number, I'll just repeat it. It's 99103-67241 and alkamahajan1@gmail.com. Or you could get in touch with Mr. Jitin from Goyal.
Yes.
And definitely he can put you on.
I'm sharing my mail ID also.
Thank you so much. And yes, I love the enthusiasm that you had, but have the same enthusiasm while studying. Lots of love to you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you to all the participants who were present here. Special thanks to you, ma'am. With this, we'll end the webinar today and come back with another session tomorrow. Thank you.
Now, subscribe to Bright Duty course at ₹1 per day only. Download Bright Duty app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Duty courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Duty follows 3-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tutor and avail your courses at affordable prices.